What's good, internet? Jake here, Jake as ever, and in today's video, we're gonna be ranking every important character from Transformers, the 2007 movie, directed by Michael freaking Bay! How's that? Was that good? I'm gonna be honest, that was one of the best takes of an intro I've ever done. It was fine, I guess. Okay. So, what do these tiers mean? S, fantastic character, irreplaceable in the movie. A, good character, had some great moments, really enjoyed them. B, pretty okay, maybe had a funny moment or two, but ultimately was not memorable. Boring, not offensive, but boring. And then D, just terrible, waste of time. Why'd they even include the character in the freaking movie in the first place? Are you going to rank the human characters? Yes, I have a bunch of the human characters. It ended up being like, I think there's like 23 characters here. 13 of them are Transformers, 10 of them are humans. And also, if I'm not 100% sure on where I want to put somebody, I will get the chat's input and just run a poll. Let's get started. First things first, we're going to talk about Sam Witwicky, played by Shia LaBeouf. Let me get the chat's heat check on this character. As a kid, I really did not mind Sam Witwicky at all. I think he's a good, character that does not know what's going on and just kind of runs around and screams. As a guy that runs around and screams, he is S tier. As a character with actual depth, I don't know. He's more of an audience, surrogate. His problems are not that interesting to me. His relationship with Mikaela is not that interesting to me. Shia LaBeouf plays him well, but I don't think there's, much to play there. B tier, funny guy, good lines, but kind of egotistical and rude. Are we talking about the character or Shia LaBeouf himself? Because we are ranking characters here, not actually Shia LaBeouf. Gonna be honest, he's probably an F tier human. He did motivate us to just do it. That's true. Okay, let's head over to the tier list here. Alright, so I'm feeling a lot of people think B. Man, it's a toss-up between B and C. What did I say? Nothing memorable. I can't say that about Sam Witwicky. I do think he's fairly memorable as a character. Obviously he was in 3 movies, so it's hard not to remember him. But I think if he only appeared in this movie, I would have wanted to see more from him anyway. Not sure we really got anything of value from more appearances from him, but for this movie, I gotta give Sam Witwicky a B. Arguably, Sam is the only human characters audiences really cared about. Yeah, but how much of that is Stockholm Syndrome? You know what I mean? Who else were we supposed to care about? Moving on, we have Epps. Sergeant, I believe. He's Sergeant Epps. This is, of course, left cheek, left cheek. Great scene in the movie. For him to say left cheek, that whole scene is chaotic, and A tier, left cheek, S, left cheek tier has to be A tier. S tier, he was in Morbius? He was in Morbius, really? Don't say Epstein. You can't just turn other people, just because he has some letters the same as Epstein, you can't just say he's like Epstein. That's not how things work. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I think he's got to be A tier. I really liked him. Both him, yeah, I'm just going to say I really liked him. I thought the left cheek scene was really memorable. It's a funny meme in the community. You know, it's a way to identify each other as Bavers fans by saying left cheek, left cheek. And yeah, I just liked him a lot more than, say, Sam, though he had way less screen time. So less time to make me hate him thanks to the terrible writing. We got Lennox. Captain Lennox, maybe? Here's my hot take. They really should have, and I think this was the plan at some point, these guys really should have been G.I. Joe characters. This guy, I would be happy if this guy was Duke. Channing Tatum, I didn't mind him, but this guy feels a lot more Duke in the movie to me. If this guy was Duke and then this guy was Roadblock, that'd be epic in my mind. I feel like that would have really queued up the Rise of Cobra movie. Dude who shot Blackout in the crotch. Okay, now we are going to rank Captain Lennox. Honestly, I've always low-key liked Epps more than Lennox. I don't know. I like Lennox does more and he has more actiony scenes. I'm putting Lennox behind Epps, but realistically, they're kind of like a duo, and I think they're kind of on the same level for me. A lot of their scenes are together. Like, their chemistry is part of their characters in the movie. We have Glen. This is Glen. He is a hacker that Maggie enlists to help her decode some sound frequencies. There's a very funny scene where his house gets raided.
Get off my grandmama's carpet! She don't like nobody on the carpet, especially police!
Just a really funny character, really funny scene. I really like this guy. And I feel like he didn't really appear in that much after this movie, right? Am I crazy? Are there any other movies with this guy? Anthony Anderson, who was in Kangaroo Jack.
Hey, where's your phone?
I ran near the Denny's.
You guys have a Denny's?
I would eat all those donuts and snitch too. Yes, the donut scene is fantastic. I know exactly how I want to tier list him. So for Glen, he is going to be our first S tier character. Here's my thought process. Because you've got a movie about transforming robots. So that's going to be the main thing of the movie, right? That's the main sell. That's what people want to see. So your human characters, only a few of them need a compelling story, right? You need like a main character with a compelling story and side characters. And I always want the side characters to be interesting. I want them to be funny. I want them to have some sort of interesting quirk. I think Glen being a side character and being funny in every scene he's in, I think it just makes him S tier for me. He didn't appear in future films. I know, that sucks. Okay, so that is Glen. Shout out Glen. Shout out Kangaroo Jack. Next up, we have probably gonna be a controversial one. Mikaela Banes, aka Megan Fox, the second lead of the movie. Love interest to Sam. Her dad's in jail. She knows how to hotwire cars. Let me get a read on the what's the chat's thoughts on I'm gonna give my real thoughts on it, but I want to see what chat thinks first. I don't say B for baddie. Be weird. Okay, here's my take on Mikaela. I feel like the movie itself completely fails her character, and especially Michael Bay is at fault for this. It is so grossly horny towards her in the movie that I kind of don't know if they even cared about her character at all. They give her this backstory, which is pretty interesting. They don't really build up on it. It feels like they just throw it out there to do something with her and Sam. She arguably is a lot like Charlie in the Bumblebee movie. Bumblebee is almost like, what if Mikaela was the main character of the first movie? You know, it kind of feels like an alt universe in that way. So I think she did dirty. I'll say that much. Especially, you know, for this movie, I think she had like an inkling of a chance of being a character, but the movie after this, Revenge of the Fallen, they didn't even try, man. So how do you rank a decent character that their movie treats poorly? You gotta rank them the way the movie ranked them, in my mind. You know, I don't hate her, but she's definitely C. She had like a backstory that could have been interesting. They just didn't do enough with it, and she doesn't have any really big funny moments I like. Besides, there is that one moment where she says, why did Bumblebee pick such a crappy alt mode? That's a great moment, but the moment's more great because Bumblebee kicks him out and scans a new alt mode in my mind. So I'm gonna have to give Mikaela a C. She didn't deserve that, chicken jockey, but that's what Michael Bay chose to do with her character. There was an idea, but the movie kind of just said, here's her lore, anyway, back to Sam. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Maggie. Maggie is a hacker. She is Australian, and she figures some stuff out. She is a character meant to progress the plot along. So the thing I was talking about earlier was side characters, giving them something interesting. I feel like she's Australian, and that's maybe like the most interesting thing about her character. One of the few characters who does anything to move the story forward. True, but are we Are we ranking characters on their ability to move the story forward, or are we ranking them on, like, how much we like them on screen? I literally do not remember this person. Okay, this may be the hottest take of the stream. I am going to put her in F tier. I did not remember her at all. I thought she was, like, fine. She did progress the plot along, which is cool, but ultimately they gave her nothing. And she really only has being Australian for me to remember her. So I'm not hating, actress did a great job, obviously, but this character, they didn't really give her anything, man. I only remember her because of Glen. That's kind of me as well. Yes, girl, give us nothing. That's right. Agent Simmons. Can you guys jog my memory? Doesn't he say something really creepy in this movie? Doesn't he say something really creepy? In case you haven't seen the movie in a while and you don't know Bayverse movies for some reason, but you're watching this is Agent Simmons. He works for Sector 7, which is the secret government organization that knows about Transformers. And he's kind of like an antagonist in the movie for a bit of it. Then he becomes a normal, kind of protagonist. Actual god tier. S. He did badmouth Mikaela. I kind of want to pull up, like, a clip from the movie and see, like, what he says.
You, in the training bra, do not test me. She's a criminal. Criminals are hot.
Yeah. He looks her up and down and says criminals are hot. Bro be looking over the evidence like it's Ace Attorney. I think there will be riots in the streets if I don't give Simmons S tier. He is a very funny character. He's eccentric. John Turturro plays him perfectly. I think those two creepy lines were maybe just Michael Bay, seeping his influence into the script a little bit. Simmons is a entertaining character. He's just like Glen in my mind. He's funny as fuck. He's fun to watch. Simmons is a goat, I have to say. This is Ron Witwicky, Sam Witwicky's father. Now, guys, I've been going on a kind of a saga recently. So I have a member/patron only Discord server, and every month we do a movie night. The last few months, we've watched Godzilla 1998, as well as Small Soldiers. Watch them 2 months in a row. This goat appears in both of them, and I had no idea. He's a military officer in the Godzilla movie, and he's the dad. He's like a main character in Small Soldiers. He's got a beard. He's like a main character. He's the main character's father, basically. Me and the members in the server were all joking about the family in Small Soldiers is his other family before Sam's, and then he also had some military time. He did some military time that he never talks about in this movie. So we were like connecting the Ron Witwicky, universe. The scene where he tricks Sam into thinking he's getting a Porsche or whatever, and then they go to the used car lot. A tier trolling, man. A tier trolling. Alright, for Ron Witwicky, I'm gonna have to put him low A tier. He has some great scenes, and, as you guys can tell, I definitely favor entertaining characters over unentertaining characters. And I do want to say it kind of sucks both women on this list so far are in the bottom tiers, but I'm gonna be for real, I'm blaming Michael Bay for that one, man. He forced my hand. I'm going to give Ron Witwicky a solid A tier. I found him really funny, and I'm going to stand by that. I stand by my goat, Judy Witwicky, Sam's mom. She is also very entertaining in my mind. All of her scenes tend to be with Ron's. F? Why does Judy get F? What's with all the Fs? If you're saying F tier, justify yourself right now. No, hating on Sam's mom is a red flag. I agree. You can't give Sam's dad B and A and B and A and B, and then give Sam's mom F? Misogyny? That's kind of... Why are we getting Fs over here, man? It's kind of feeling a little weird. I swear the scene with the happy time thing gave me secondhand embarrassment. Okay, that might be a reason people are saying F. Something making me cringe. I can see why you might hate it. This woman was ready to fight government agents. Dead ass. She really did an Optimus Prime, I'll take you all on. I'm gonna have to fight against you guys big time here. I'm gonna have to give her a right next to Ron. They're almost in every scene together. I'm gonna give Ron a little bit above her because he did that car trolling thing, and that shit was funny as hell. But I think both of them entertained me a lot. Next up, we got Bobby Bolivia, played by Bernie Mac. This man gets his own tier. S tier. S. This guy was so iconic that they used him in the trailer for Bumblebee. Do you guys remember that? Where he's like, the car chooses the driver. and they have that playing over the Bumblebee trailer. Did I imagine that, or is that real? I think it's real, right? Dude, that messed me up, LMAO. Why did they do that? Yeah, why did they choose to do that? I guess they were like trying to cash in on like any nostalgia they possibly could. So like, yeah, I guess the scene where Sam gets his car in 2007 movie is kind of nostalgic.
Son, I'm a lot of things. Lie's not one of them. Especially not in front of my mammy. That's my mammy. Hey, mammy! Oh, don't be like that. If I had a rock, I'll bust your head, bitch. Tell me she's there.
I love that scene. Oh, why does he say that, man? He says, if I had a rock, I'd bust your head, bitch. That is such a crazy line for a movie aimed at 13-year-olds. I am going to put Bobby Bolivia in S, above Agent Simmons, but below Glen. I don't think he was in enough of the movie for me to like him more than Glen. But, you know, iconic performance by Bernie Mac. Rest in peace, GOAT. That shit had me crying when I was watching. When I rewatched the movie for Bat Kibble podcast, that one scene had me dead. If I had a rock, I'd bust your headline rolled around my brain like a marble for over a year when I was a kid. Time to reset my brain a little bit, because I think that was the last human character. We're talking robots now. For the Transformers section of this list, it's gonna be a lot of basing it on design, how I feel about the design, though I will be factoring in their characters quite a bit. But if they don't have any character to speak of, I'm gonna go mostly to design base, because I mean, it's a big ensemble movie. A lot of these guys were never gonna have characters. Where's Mojo? Okay, give me 1 second. Mojo, he's obviously gonna go in S tier. He did pee on Ironhide. That was pretty lit. I'm going to turn into a truck now. Where my boy Mojo? I just put him on the freaking list, man. What about Sam's grandpa? You really want me to tier list Archibald Witwicky? Where would I put him? F. 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 There. Tier listed. Optimus Prime, gonna be S tier. I'm not gonna lie. First of all, the design is sick. I don't care what anybody says. The hot rod flames are fucking epic. Brilliant addition to his character. The proportions on his character, just the look of it, it's like the perfect mix of the movie thing they were going for and Optimus's look. They got the chest windows. He has a grill chest, or a grill abs. They're obfuscated, but they're there. You know, his head looks right. Like, out of all the Transformers, this one is the most faithful to the original, you know, Optimus Prime. S tier, the design is iconic AF, so much better than the Night Prime design. He's one of the few Transformers that really has a character. I wouldn't say he necessarily has a character arc, but he's got a character, you know, played by Peter Cullen, that wonderful voice. You know, it's hard not to fall in love with Optimus Prime by the end of this movie. Okay, so I'm gonna give Optimus Prime, Bayverse Prime, I'm going to give him S tier, type of S tier. They cooked with the design, man. They had to get one thing right, and they got it right, bro. Let's bring Bumblebee. Bumblebee is a great character in the movie. His relationship with Sam is the main, you know, crux of the movie. It's like what gives the movie any sort of heart at all. I would be hard pressed to not give this guy an S. He started a lot of trends, you know. Bumblebee not having a voice became a huge trend. Bumblebee being one of the main Autobots came back with this movie. 2007 is like the start of the era of Bumblebee. You know, the biggest toy they made for the '07 movie was Ultimate Bumblebee. I love his classic Camaro form so much. I love it so much more than his, like, concept Camaro look. You know, back in the day, I thought the concept Camaro was awesome, but, you know, being older now, I much more favor that older Camaro version. I'd argue that B is a better character than Prime in '07. That is a strong argument in my mind. He's got way more of a story arc with Sam. Here's the thing. I think Bumblebee has a story arc at the beginning of the movie, and then midway when the Autobots arrive, it kind of transfers over to Optimus. You know, we get more scenes with Optimus. The battle between him and Megatron is the final battle. Optimus can talk, so there's a lot more, you know, going on between them. Bumblebee does kind of fall into the background at the end of the movie. And he even gets injured and Mikaela has to drive him around, and that's fun and all, but he's kind of out of action for a lot of the end of the movie. Could do without the lubricating the man bit? Okay. Try and have a little bit of fun, buddy. What really gets me is that he gains his voice back at the tail end of '07 and then loses his voice again in ROTF. That piece of continuity with his voice is so, like, all of the movies are enraging with their continuity issues. But, you know, just going off '07, him getting his voice back at the end of this movie does feel completely random. I think Bumblebee has to go next to Prime. Behind Prime. The fact that he can't talk is a fun bit, but it's not enough for me to like him more than Optimus. And I feel like the whole Bumblebee thing they did in this movie, they did 100 times better in the Bumblebee movie. 2007 really feels like it was just the prototype of the Bumblebee movie. I mean, they split off a lot in terms of, you know, how the movies end, but the beginning of the movie, it kind of feels like, what if we just did the '07 movie again and better? So I gotta say, Optimus still beats out Bumblebee for me. I love this Bumblebee design. I've got nothing against the design. Bobby B and Glen are better than B. Interesting. I can't agree. I thought about it. I really did. I like all of these characters a lot, but Bumblebee does turn into a car. So I think I have to give him the edge on that one, man. All right, moving on. Next up is Jazz. Here's what I'll say. You know, Jazz is kind of beloved in the community. You know, he's a bit of a meme with the I want half. And I like the design for this Jazz. I think he looks cool. He's a little bit plain with the all silver. You know, we've got so many Transformers in this movie that are all silver. I want to give this guy a high rating. But once again, just like with Mikaela, this movie completely fails him. The movie fails him and turns him into a one-note sort of black-coated Transformer. And Jazz has always been black-coated. He was played by a black actor. He's like an awesome representation, and he's an awesome character. You know, he's cool, he loves music, he talks in an interesting way. He talks like using metaphors about tuning and, you know, music stuff. This movie doesn't do anything with him. He shows up, he says the words, "What's crackin', little bitches?" He says we need to go save Bumblebee. I'm pretty sure that's him who says it. And then he gets killed by Megatron. Especially the "what's crackin', little bitches" line. I don't interpret this character as racist, but I do interpret him as one note. And that's not the character's fault, it's Michael Bay's fault. Always has been. By the way, always has been. Normal Jazz is coded black. '07 is a stereotyped black person. I agree. That's kind of how I feel. TFA kind of references his Bayverse death. I don't know what you're talking about, but TFA Jazz is a perfect comparison because of how much that character does right and how much this character does wrong or nothing at all. And I also don't like that he's the only Autobot that gets killed. So I'm a little bit split on him. I am going to have to give Jazz a C. A C behind Mikaela Banes. I hate to do it, man. I really hate to do it. And you know what? I'll give him a little bit above Mikaela because his design is awesome. But I have to give him a low tier ranking because the movie itself does not prioritize him in any way. And it really sucks because he could have been an awesome character. And they kind of just, you know, stereotype him and then throw him away. Kind of sucks. Bro said he's split on him. I did not mean to say I'm split on him on I wasn't trying to do like a pun there. I wasn't doing like a cut in half fun. I just, Ratchet. Interesting design for Ratchet here. He turns into a green ambulance, which I don't know where they have green ambulances. Nowhere I've ever lived in the United States. I in general like his look. He's well proportioned. The colors are interesting with the yellow and red. I've always liked how the grill on his chest like kind of bends a little bit. The line in regards to Sam and Mikaela was weird but funny. Yes, the pheromone levels. I am going to give him above Sam B. I like his scenes. I think he's funny. I think he's the one that walks into the power lines. Am I wrong on that? Is it him or Ironhide that walks into the power lines? Whatever it is, it's funny. And the pheromone levels is good. Like, I like his design. I'm a fan of this version of Ratchet. Let's move on to Ironhide. Mojo peed on his foot. Well, that's a Mojo moment. He wanted to shoot Mojo. He's weirdly threatening, but I think he's just being silly, I think. This is an implication. He says, I just wanted to show him my guns. He is, like, totally black, which, you know, I wish he was red or some other color. You know, him and Jazz, we really did not need more black and silver Transformers past the Decepticons. He's got some cool action sequences, like when he transforms and does a flip. Yeah, that's a great moment. I have made my decision. I am going to put him top of A tier. I think he's got some great moments, some great action moments. He's got some funny lines. He's definitely one of the more outstanding. Like, these three Autobots being towards the top makes a lot of sense to me because they all have, you know, more lines and more outstanding moments. Barricade! Are you ladies man 127? Or 197, or whatever it is. I'm just gonna shoot from the hip immediately. I already know what I want Barricade as. Barricade is a solid S tier for me. He is one of the main Decepticons that shows up throughout the movie. He fights Bumblebee. He's like Bumblebee's arch rival. The fact that he turns into a police car is really cool. He is just a badass villain. And I've always liked him a lot. I had his toy back in the day. Like, Barricade, one of my favorite Decepticons. We need more police car Decepticons. Bonecrusher. Famously, Michael Bay loved him so much he named his dog after Bonecrusher. This scene that he's from, where he shows up, he's lifting up cars, throwing them behind him, bursting through a van that they actually blew up with real pyrotechnics. It's such a sick scene, man. It's maybe my favorite scene in the movie. And as a kid, I loved Bonecrusher. He was probably my favorite character in the movie, despite really not saying anything at all. He just shows up, fucks shit up, gets fucked up by Optimus, and then that's it. And I kind of respect that. I love the roller skating aspect of him. It's really cool. A tier, love his design, and the highway scene goes hard. Naming your dog Bonecrusher is so wild. Yeah, and there's even a reference to Michael Bay's dog on the original toy. If you look here, this little sticker, I don't think this is in the movie. I think they added this little decal to the toy as a reference to Michael Bay's dog. Okay, we're gonna rank Bonecrusher. I'm gonna have to give him top of A. He just comes in, farms aura like crazy, and dies. I don't know. I just respect characters like that, man. He's always stuck in my mind. The tan design is a little bit boring, but considering the vehicle he turns into, it kind of makes sense to me. But he does stand out a little bit more among the Decepticons because instead of black or silver, he's more of that tan color. Frenzy! Frenzy is so interesting to me. Because arguably he could have been Soundwave. They could have called this guy a lot of different things. They went with Frenzy. So maybe he was Soundwave's minion like Ravage in the second movie. I sincerely doubt they wrote any sort of backstory like that, but you could headcanon it. They also called Blackout Soundwave for a bit. Yeah, a few people were supposed to be Soundwave, but never were. But Frenzy, he arguably drives the plot of the movie more than any other character. He sneaks onto Air Force One. He steals the information about Megatron. He goes to Sector 7. He breaks in. He frees Megatron. Like, he does everything. Like, nothing in this movie would happen if Frenzy were not in the movie. His design is unfortunately like the peak Bayverse like design ethos, where it's a bunch of pointy bullshit. And you know, he makes it work. I'm not saying he looks bad, but like, he looks good as an alien robot, but there's no universe in which you can ever make a toy of this guy that even looks slightly right. Frenzy is unironically one of the major highlights of the movie. He's funny, memorable, and important. I gotta agree 100% Mr. Metal. I'm gonna put this guy above Bumblebee. I really like Frenzy. I like how much he does. I like that he says, "oh shit," when he dies. Like, I have vivid memories of watching the movie in theaters, and everyone geeked hard at that scene where he says, "ah shit." So I'm gonna give Frenzy an S tier. I don't know if that one's crazy, but that's just how I feel, bro. It's Starscream! There he is. There's the man. This Starscream, I really don't mind his look at all. I mean, I know people say he's Dorito and all that. And yeah, he is definitely triangular, but I don't care. Like, just because he's got like a triangular shape, is that supposed to make me not like it? Starscream is he's a wimp in this movie. He is Megatron's like lap boy. He doesn't really try to defeat Megatron or get at him. It's not really a strong Starscream characterization, and it never really becomes one after this movie, but especially in this movie, he is really, really just Megatron's lackey. He does not appear to have any interest in taking over the Decepticons. A tier, the scene with him attacking the F-22 jets is his best moment ever. Captain Equilateral Triangle. His only crime is having a drooling pug face. I actually really like Starscream's head design. I think it's like one of the most interesting looking head designs. You know, a lot of them they've got the multiple eye, for the Decepticons specifically, they've got like the multiple eyes and, you know, they're jutting out. But he's got way more of a rounded, more bird-like design. And I always like that way more. Chicken Jockey. So for Starscream, I am going to put him in B tier. B tier, he doesn't do enough for me. He's not good enough as a characterization of Starscream, so he comes out like very one note. And but I do like his design, and I think he does have some cool scenes. Like when he shows up, he's like a force to be reckoned with, right? Like they know when Starscream shows up. That's why Ironhide is yelling about it, because he's freaked out that freaking Starscream is here. So he does kind of aura farm a little bit on that one, but not enough. Not enough Starscream for me. And I like his design, so I wish there were more. Blackout. Now, Blackout is a great character to me. He opens up the movie. He's the first Transformer we see. He has the ability to black out electronics. He's huge. He's like one of the biggest Transformers in the movie, I'm pretty sure. Maybe Megatron's a little bit bigger than him, but he's one of the bigger ones. Now, after that first scene in the movie, he does kind of disappear. He shows up at the end for the final battle, but for most of the movie, he's kind of not around. You know, you could say that for a bunch of Decepticons, but a bunch of Decepticons don't have the opening scene that he has. And you know, that opening scene's so fire, so I love this design, and the tail rotor blade is awesome, and the badass entrance as well, S tier. He dies by getting shot in the crotch. That's true. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and give Blackout... I'm gonna have to give him S tier above Simmons. He has a badass opening scene. His Blackout powers are awesome. Just the intro of that movie is so burned into my mind, and Blackout is such an integral part of it that, like, I gotta give it to him, man. I gotta give him that S tier. Alright, next up we have Brawl. I think this may be like the video game the video game model for Brawl because he looks a little bit too simplified to me. He's just giving me video game render a little bit. I will say he's always been one of my lower tier characters. Devastate. Yeah, he does get called Devastator in the movie. I gave him the wrong name. He's always been Brawl to me. I'm not gonna call him Devastator. I do like the treads on his shoulders. I think those look cool. I like that his tank mode kind of has like these cow catcher things. But for me, you know, the biggest issue is he's just like a random goon. He doesn't say anything. He does a couple things, but not a lot. So I'm gonna have to put him bottom of C. He's almost F tier for me, but I like his design. I like his design a little bit. I like the crab motif they kind of got with him. Moving on, we are here at Skorponok. Skorponok. I mean, I like him. I think he's cool. He's a big robot scorpion. He doesn't transform. It calls into question, like, what even is he? I'm kind of conflicted on this guy. I may have to do a poll because I really don't know what to give him. I think I'm gonna do a poll because I've got three. I'm of three minds about this. He's either A because he's got some great scenes. He's either B because he doesn't have enough scenes and there's not enough there. Or he's either C because he's really not that memorable out of all of them. And he doesn't transform, he doesn't speak. He's a lot like Frenzy where he's way more alien and like, you know, just not like the other Transformers. Alright, I am ending the poll at 21 votes. So I'm going to put Skorponok, I'll put him right above Brawl, because he did have more cool scenes in Brawl. Okay, guys, end of the road. It's time to rank Megatron. Megatron, for most of the movie, is completely frozen in ice. He shows up in the third act. Kind of a final boss moment. Chases Sam throughout the city, trying to get the Allspark. And he is ultimately killed by Sam, who places the Allspark in his chest. The power is too overwhelming, and he dies. What do we think about this Megatron? I'm talking character and design. S tier? Peggy, you fuck with 2007 Megatron? He is the least sexy Megatron, but it's still Megatron. I'm done saving you. This is a different Megatron than that. I don't like that he has no alt mode. He definitely does have an alt mode. I mean an Earth mode. You know, in my mind, I kind of... This Megatron makes a lot of sense to me. Because if I were him, I would not adopt an Earth mode either. First of all, he crash lands before vehicles are really even around. I think he crashes in like prehistoric Earth. And that's where he freezes before Archibald finds him. So if I were him, I would not adopt a Earth vehicle mode either. I would be if I'm Megatron from this universe, I'm very snobby. I would not be caught dead as a Earth vehicle. That's kind of why I think Dark of the Moon Megatron is interesting, because he's so beaten down that he's resorted to turning into an Earth vehicle. B tier, not gonna lie, design leaves a lot to be desired. I do enjoy the fight between him and Optimus. Look, this is not my favorite Megatron design. It's arguably one of my least favorite Megatron designs. It's very boring. He does have aura. He comes out the ice looking for a fight. He's after the Allspark. He was frozen all those years. He doesn't stop once. He doesn't ask what's going on. He's not chilling for a second. He's right to business. He's vicious. He rips Jazz in half. He's got some awesome moves with the flailing mace that he destroys a bunch of buildings. And he's got that laser arm blaster. I am going to have to put Megatron behind Ron Witwicky. I think he brings a lot of presence to the movie. You know, I think he fits the bill as Megatron. He's scary enough. He's violent enough. He's enough of a threat that when he shows up, it's like, oh shit, it's game time. But I also don't think he has enough characterization. He's just a bad guy. We don't know his backstory. And we don't really get a lot of him between. We don't get a lot between him and Optimus. Nowhere near enough. So I have to put him behind my goat, Ron Witwicky. The funniest possible ranking. Alright guys, this is my complete ranking of the Transformers 2007 cast. At the bottom in F, we have the Australian hacker Maggie. Bottom of C, we have Brawl, followed by Skorponok. Next up, Mikaela Banes, and then Jazz is at the top of C tier. We've got Sam at the bottom of B with Ratchet, and Starscream at the top. At the bottom of A tier, we've got Judy Witwicky, who is followed up by Megatron, who is followed up by Ron Witwicky, and then Lennox and Epps are above him, with Ironhide above them, and at the top of A, Bonecrusher. Bottom of S is Mojo the dog. Simmons goes above him, with Blackout coming next. Bolivia is above Blackout. Glen is above Bobby. Barricade and Bumblebee go next. And then Frenzy is above Bumblebee. And finally, Optimus Prime is the top of S tier. We did it, gang! Let's go! What do we think about this tier list? Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in and checking out me rank all the Transformers 2007 characters. If you want to see me do this live, go to my main channel, dumbjake, and every Sunday at 6 p.m. EST, we're going to be doing one of these live streams, doing a tier list or playing a game or something else. Show up, be in the chat, and I'll see you guys next time. That was fake. This is not me ending the stream. I'm ending the video. Chicken jockey.